What's good? Yes, sirski. What's up, everybody? Oh man, we're gonna get into it in just 1 second, man. What up? Welcome in. All right, man. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Jayson Estrera podcast, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. Now, we've got a lot on the docket today. I hope all of y'all had a great weekend. I had a lot of fun over the weekend. I hope every one of y'all had a really, really good weekend. And starting the week off strong. If not, it's gonna get better. If not, it's gonna get better. But we do have a lot to talk about today. We are going to do a breakdown of the Oklahoma City Thunder. What is going on with this team? They're currently 6-4, or now 7-4, or now 7-4 in their last 11. I believe in their last 10 or 11, they're either 6-4 or 7-4. So how is it that they are winning, but they aren't looking as dominant as they did to begin the season? Just stick around to watch that breakdown. I think it's going to be a really good breakdown. We really get in depth with it. We're going to talk about Anthony Edwards and whether or not he's gearing up for, a really big year 7. He's already having a good season. A critique that we had very early on. He has clearly changed and he's worked on it. And I think there's a lot that goes into that. We'll get into that as well. And Jaylen Brown versus the Spurs. The Spurs are in a lot of the news this weekend. So we'll be talking all about that. Jaylen Brown is probably going to get fined. But we'll see as to why. Is it valid or is it not? But yeah, man, if you haven't done so, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. So we'll get started with my New York Knicks. I know everybody hates it when we talk about the Knicks, but hey, we won against the Portland Trailblazers 123-114. And honestly, we haven't been playing very good. Like I'll just be real frank with it. I said what I said about the NBA Cup. I think it's a Band-Aid for bigger problems that we have that need to get addressed. And I think we still have quite a ways to go, right? And that's a lot saying for a team that's in the second seed. But to really compete for a championship year in and year out, I think we still have a ways to go. I've had my critiques of Karl Anthony Towns. I feel like more so this year than last year, he comes and goes. One game he'll have 6 points and 2 rebounds. Another game he'll have, his typical 12, 13 rebounds and 20 points. And that was this game, right? That was this game. He ended up with, let me see here. He ended up with 20 and 11 with 3 assists, but didn't play much down the stretch. Only 2.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson and co closed it out. In a game that really shouldn't have been that close, if I'm being honest with you. This Portland Trailblazers has some good talent. But if we're looking to be the championship team that we're striving for, we got to be able to take care of these teams. But a win is a win. You'll take a win. You'll take a win at the end of the day. And, hopefully injuries don't bite us in the ass. And we're playing our best basketball at the end. A really exciting finish that I wanted to look into was between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Toronto Raptors. Now, talk about a ending to this game, right? This game ended up 116 to 115. The Toronto Raptors took the victory in overtime. And we'll take a look at this finish right here. I wonder if Elijah's in the chat. I don't know if Elijah's in the chat right now, but he would be loving this right now. So let's take a look at this really quick, y'all.
Bone up. Pitches it over to Maxey. Maxey over to Edgecombe. They're trying to get it back to Maxey. They got to get something here under 10 of the...
I'll let this play out, and I know y'all probably want me to shut the fuck up and just let the play happen, but VJ Edgecombe really got some cojones. This young man really got some balls on him to take this shot.
The shot clock. Game clock at 18.
I mean, a Hail Mary. Could have been a foul. But you're not getting that call, Rook. Yeah, you ain't getting that call, Rook.
Shed. 6.3 to go. Barnes. Oubre on him. Scotty.
Should have been an N1.
They're going to wave it off. No continuation.
Should have been an N1.
0.8 to go.
It really should have been an N1.
Wants an N1.
Back in the day, this would have been an and one. That would have been an and one because there's nothing else he
just
do
got
other
shoved.
than shoot the basketball after the gather.
0.8 to go. Night.
Makes the first.
Raptors. You see, he intentionally
misses the game, the shot for the game. Great plays out of the boys. Great plays out of the boys. Bang, bang, bang. What's good, Elijah? Scotty Barnes owns your poverty franchise. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? So great game from Scotty Barnes. He ended this game with 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. Just another great game out of Scotty Barnes. And we also, I don't think we could go through this game and not show this. So let's take a look at this right here as well.
Good job of denying Maxey those opportunities.
Scotty up fake.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Dunks like that in a close game in the fourth quarter. That's big time. That's big time, man. Getting dunks like that in the fourth quarter when you get people that really analyze everything in a clip. You start looking at the score, but you already know who you want to talk about. We talking about we got a couple of things on the docket. I think y'all gonna enjoy this episode today, man. Me, I live in Philly, LMAO. That's crazy. That's crazy. Another victory for the Toronto Raptors, who are now sitting at their 24-16 and 4th in the Eastern Conference. And I got to give credit to Elijah, and I got to give credit to Black Canadian for calling this in the summertime that y'all would have a great year. What a finish, what a game for Scotty Barnes and the Toronto Raptors. Now, we're going to go back in time a little bit. Because there's a lot of controversy with this when it comes to this San Antonio Spurs Boston Celtic game that took place on Saturday, where the San Antonio Spurs took the game 100-95. It was a big 5-point victory, and I would love to talk about the Spurs and what they've done, because they've really had a good stretch this season. They've played good basketball. They have the potential, defensive player of the year in Victor Wembanyama. They got second at the Cup, and they've been playing good ever since. They've beat OKC a couple of times, and have started this narrative that the Oklahoma City Thunder have been figured out. So the Spurs, whether it counts or not, have really made a lot of strides for a young team. But this really kind of takes away from what happened, if I'm being honest, from what happened in this game. It's getting real, though. We beat up an injuries finna whoop us. It's that time of the season for y'all. It's that time of the season for everybody, right? Everyone's just kind of gearing up for that post All-Star game run. But let's take a look at what Jaylen Brown said. Let's listen to this, and let's see what Jaylen Brown had to say about this game.
But I feel like, honestly, they just got away with a lot. Like, and I'm tired of the inconsistency. Like, I'll accept the fine at this point. I thought it was some bullshit tonight. I thought that, I think they're a good defensive team, but they ain't that damn good. I thought and I hope somebody can just pull up the clips, because it's the same shit every time we play a good team. It's like they refuse to make a call and call touch fouls on the other end, and that's just extremely frustrating, bro. Like, like we play hard. We are outplaying our expectations. We compete hard on the defensive end, and they reward the other team with touch fouls, and we go down there and guys are allowed to get away with. I hope just somebody please pull it up. Every time we play a good team, the inconsistency is crazy. I'll take the fucking fine. Curtis, all them dudes was terrible tonight.
He's calling out names. He calling out names. He says he'll take the fine like a good 3-4 times. So, hey, NBA, that's free money. He'll take the fine. But the real question is he valid? Does he have a point? Let's take a look at, and this was, I know he made 2 of them, but then he started missing. Let me see where's Jaylen Brown right here. It was in the second quarter, I believe. Not with stiff arm Tatum on his team. Well, he's not there right now. The conspiracy excuse, SMH man up, all refs against Boston now. So do people really hate Tatum, or are they getting good calls because it's Tatum? I don't know what it is. What do you guys think it is, man? What do you guys think? But let's take a look at some of these plays and see if Jaylen Brown has a point.
Of the second quarter, got a good one developing here. Brown got it back on the block. Baby hook for Jaylen Brown.
He's getting held right over here.
Brown rising fire.
That's a big shot by JB.
Inside the arc, Jaylen Brown going to work, puts it up, off the rim.
Where's the third quarter ones where he was really hot about some of those third quarter shots?
Yeah, he had 5 points in the first half. He's already got 6 in the third quarter, and he didn't even start it. We're midway through this third
and the dunk attempt on Wemby as well too. This one. Is that a foul or not? What do you guys think? Is that a foul? And I think the other one was this make on Castle.
Instantly. Castle's tough. Yeah, Brown looking for the call.
So what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? Does Jaylen Brown have a point on whether or not these are foul calls? Does Jaylen Brown have a point that they're just kind of getting away with it? And let's be honest. The Oklahoma City Thunder, and we're going to talk a lot about them later on, a little bit later on this episode, but they are also a team that's notorious for getting away with a lot of physicality. And, Jaylen Brown says later on in that interview, those guys are good on defense. They're not that damn good. No good block by Wemby. Dunks are allowed more contact. I mean, they're. I'll be honest. Some of those I think were very egregious. Some of those were very obvious fouls, in my opinion. And you would think, we'll talk about this, and we've talked about this before. I know that the Celtics could be a jump shooting team. Jaylen Brown is not necessarily a jump shooting player. And, we've talked about when you're a player that drives a lot, you do get the benefit of the whistle more than a person that stays on the perimeter and shoots a bunch of jump shots all game long. That's not Jaylen Brown necessarily, and still not getting those calls. But, part of the politics of basketball, if we're being honest. Happy Valley Farms couldn't play during the Jordan Rules days. They fouled him on purpose to stop how great he was. Humans make mistakes. Hire AI refs then. To be fair, Jaylen Brown does play through contact. He isn't Luka, for example. He really doesn't flop. I'll give Jaylen Brown that credit, right? He's not a flopping player. He also sticks the best offensive player on most nights on the other team. So I will say that about Jaylen Brown. I think that is very unique about him in that sense. There are some star players that really try to get the benefit of that call and maybe aren't so deserving at all times, right? I'm not gonna lie, I would need to watch a full game. I know Wemby gets a bullshit whistle sometimes, but that didn't look bad. Refs play parlay now. That investigation would turn the NBA upside down. That's a whole nother conversation. But I will say, when it comes to this game between the Spurs and the Boston Celtics, look at these numbers, guys. This is very glaring. The San Antonio Spurs took 20 free throws. They were 14 of 20 from the free throw line this game. And the Boston Celtics were 3 of 4. They took 4 free throws as an entire team. Jaylen Brown did not attempt a free throw. And, you can say he lost composure because he definitely looked frustrated as the game went on. Some of those shots he was forcing up. There were two. They had a opportunity at the end of this game. Let me find it really quickly. And I gotta say, Derek White put up the bullshit, like an absolutely awful shot that Derek White put up. Jaylen Brown also put up a bad 3-point shot and missed a wide open one. So, we can put the blame on the foul calls. We know that those calls come and go. But, something that they can try to control are some of these more open shots. This is just a terrible shot. Happy Valley Farm. I think there are favorable ref crews and non-favorable refs. The combinations usually even out. Maybe a bad crew that night. I'm also a big proponent of that, right? I'm a big believer in, whistles kind of balance out at the end. And some players do get really bad whistles, right? On maybe more than others, but they do get paid back. They do get paid back on other nights. Jaylen Brown seems to be talking about something a little bit deeper than that, and let's just call it what it is, right? Jaylen Brown has gone against Nike. Jaylen Brown has gone at the the what were they calling it? The no names on the sources, the unnamed sources. He's gone at a lot of people, and it wouldn't surprise me that a guy that doesn't play politics, that doesn't play nice with politics, doesn't get a favorable call. I'm just gonna call it what it is, and I know that opens up a whole nother thing. But again, when you get to the actual game, which is right here, fourth quarter, 14 seconds left on the shot clock, they are up 91-90, and let's just let it play out.
Here's Cornette on the perimeter. What?
I mean, that's just an awful shot. That's an awful shot. Let's just call that what it is. Point blank. Period. Jaylen Brown gets a 2 here.
2 minutes to play in the quarter. Brown, left hand.
Right. He gets a 2 right there. And we just can't miss these. We just can't miss these guys.
With Wemby in there, this is a good look. Brown missed it. Tatum almost had the rebound. Here's Brown, snaps it back over Cornette.
You know, it's just one of those things. You're in scramble mode at that point. But they were in the game still. A couple bad shots, a missed wide open 3, and you know, he could have been talking from the winning side with those complaints, which I think comes off very differently, because realistically, when they go into film and go over this game, they are going to talk about these plays, and they were, for everything that happened in that game, they still had an opportunity to win it, and really were very capable of winning it. So do I think that Jaylen Brown is valid, and that the San Antonio Spurs are getting away with a little bit more physicality than maybe most teams? Yeah, but that's also a part of being a defensive team. Let's just call it what it is, right? Let's just be 100% honest. At what point do you have these great defensive teams and you don't have a bunch of hacks on the team? like the San Antonio's, the Detroit Pistons, right? The old Detroit Pistons, the 04 and the Bad Boys Pistons, right? You know, people complained about the Bulls. You know, Mike got away with a lot. Think about Shane Battier was another one for the Miami Heat. Birdman was on that team, fouling people as well. You know, you think about the San Antonio Spurs. They had Bruce Bowen. They had a bunch of Tim Thomas, I think, was on that. They had a bunch of really rough guys that would just be physical and foul. And so when you think about these really great defensive teams, that's a part of it. They play together. They have really good concepts. They're intense. They're locked in. But they're also physical because they're kind of allowed to be physical, because for the most part, all 5 guys on the floor are physical. And realistically, as the referee, you're put in a spot where that's the new normal for that team. You can't call everything. Everyone would foul out. And, you know, it adjusts the whistle. And we'll have a video on that a little bit later on in this show, which I think really captures the essence of that, right? To understand it from the referee's perspective, because I think oftentimes we only see it from the player's perspective and the coach's perspective, right? Do these referees bet on parlays and do a bunch of other shit? Probably. But at the same time, there's that aspect of it as well. Now, the Spurs, like we said, they had a really busy weekend. After that Saturday night game, They had a Minnesota Timberwolves game in Minnesota. So, and there was, I wouldn't call it controversy, right? But now we got more out of that because Anthony Edwards had a huge bucket to end this game. The Minnesota Timberwolves took this game at home, 104 to 103. We'll look at Anthony Edwards' game-winning bucket in just a little bit. He ended the game with 23, shot 47.6% from the field, only 20% from three on the night, 205 from the free throw line. So really didn't have a great shooting night. Julius Randle, look at this, 15 points, 12 free throws, 4 of 11 from the field, 8 rebounds. And then when we look on the other side, Wemby had 29 and 7 with 3 steals. And who else do we have on this side? We had Keldon Johnson with 15, Julian Champagny with 14, and Harrison Barnes with 13. So let's take a look at this play, man, because I think something that we're gonna really watch is the maturation of Anthony Edwards. And for a lot of the criticism that I think he's got over the last year or so, along with a lot of praise, right? Because I think he's done a great job of improving. What's good, RC? What's good, RC? I got a question, bro. Do you do any other sports or just NBA basketball? Just out of curiosity. I'm focusing on basketball. It's really the main sport that I follow. Not really a big football guy. Not really a big baseball guy. But I do watch some MMA. I watch some MMA. I watch some boxing a little bit still. But yeah, we're really sticking to basketball over here. You know, we want to lock in. We want to lock in over here. So let's take a look at this ending right here, man. What a crazy ending in Minnesota. These are your boys, RC. These are your boys. These are your boys, RC. What an ending.
Fox with it up top. Against McDaniels. Rises up, mid-post, hits again. De'Aaron Fox has saved his best for last. Edwards against Wembanyama. Finds a seam, puts it in off the glass for 2. Minnesota back in front, 104-103.
I mean,
McDaniels will guard the inbound. DiVincenzo, Randall, Gobert, and Edwards out there defensively. Castle. Wembanyama catches it. Clock at 8. Victor fades away. No good. Ball loose. Champagny has it back out. Fox for the win. No good.
They got 2 attempts to win that game. They got 2 attempts. I thought Julius Randle played great defense on that final possession. And that was honestly as clean a look as you're going to get if you're De'Aaron Fox. So Minnesota really squeaks out of there with a victory. But honestly, the thing that I want to talk about is your boy, man, is your boy RC, and how clutch Anthony Edwards has been all year, and has improved. He makes it look good, not in any top 5 category, but all-star for sure. Did you see the photo of Anthony Edwards being midgeted by Wemby? LOL. Minnesota for life. We got super lucky to get 2 stops on them boys. But I really wanted to highlight this because if you guys remember, Anthony Edwards is the same player that said he doesn't watch film. I don't know if you guys remember that. But Anthony Edwards said that he doesn't watch a lot of basketball. I don't know if you guys remember that from before, but he said he doesn't really watch a lot of basketball. And I think to go from that player to the person that's talking right here really shows someone that's trying to get better. That's a bad look for 1B, but Randall played great D. It was just great defense, honestly, and took a tough shot.
Not calling up a switch, because usually when I call up a trap, I run pain away to in that spot. I think that's the only shot that's really available. If I run pick and roll, they're gonna trap me. If I try to run small action, they're gonna trap me. So just get into a spot. Not calling up a switch, because usually when I call up a switch, they delay blitz me. So just going whoever they got come out of the timeout. Hey, you got Ant. I'm just gonna put him in the post and see what I can do.
When you get Wemby matched up against Wemby,
I was like, oh. You ain't see me? I was like, damn. Do I got the shot? Do I drive him?
Hold on, we're gonna rewind this because he said something about the post, which I think is really good.
Bother him. Same things teams do to me. So I feel like it kind of worked a little bit, but can't get too up on it because we gotta play him again in like a week or so. So he'll be ready for us. So we have to change something up.
And down the stretch, what did you see? Kind of what was your plan of attack? Were you kind of planning on some of those shots?
Like, I already knew it. Yeah, I already knew what I wanted to get to. Anytime it's the fourth quarter, I'm getting to the post. I don't give a who say something about it. I'm going to the post. I worked on it, man, all summer. I worked on it 3-4 times a day, so I'm comfortable in that spot, those spots, right or left side.
I really think that this really shows a lot of the maturation, and not just his game, but in the way that he thinks about the game. Right? Understanding if they run pick and rolls, which we talked about last playoffs, right? Anytime they bring someone up, the other team is just going to blitz him to get him off the ball. And more often than not, he is the mismatch. He is the advantage, whether it's size. If you put someone smaller on him, he could post them up. If you put someone bigger on him, he can get to the basket and get around them. And understanding that someone that worked on his post game, it was very evident in the first couple weeks when he was in some of these clutch situations that he was still reverting back to the step back three Anthony Edwards that we've seen for his career so far. And sometimes it takes a little bit for that work and that training to kick in an actual game. And over the last month or so, I mean, we could take a look at this together. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is leading the league in clutch points right now at 7.9. But Anthony Edwards is shooting 70% and 57% from three. So talk about probably the most efficient clutch scorer that we have in the NBA right now is Anthony Edwards. He also said he doesn't want to be the best player in the game or the torch carrier or something. He said he don't want to be the face of the NBA. I do think that is something that matters, RC. Because he is in a spot where it's his for the taking. He's American born. I mean, before I was screaming for him to go to Nike because he'll get the face, he'll get everything. Everything that he wants is with the check. I'll be honest with you, is with the check logo. Everything that he wants that could potentially unlock. But again, if that's not what he wants, we can't want it more than he does. But I will say it's very evident that this guy has worked on his game and he has improved a lot. Thanks for the secret, and Happy Valley Farm says, I'm not gonna lie, me and Am both, that post low-key nice. I see what them old heads was hype about. It's the shot that's available. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it, right? How about this? How about let's pull up film? How about that, guys? Let's pull up some film. How about that? Let's pull up some film. Let's look at these. Let's look at Anthony Edwards in the post, and let's break it down. Let's break it down. That's what I need, though, Jay. I need him to get high percentage shots going down, especially in the clutch situation. I mean, he's been finding them. I'd be out there looking like Scotty Barnes and Pascal. So many people want to emulate the three-point long-term expertise of Steph Curry, but not everyone has to, and included. Just focus on building a great overall game. Again, a lot of people, when it comes to the Steph Curry shot, forget the ball movement that the Golden State Warriors produce and create for him, right? It's his job to be in shape and the timings of all of those things, but that's also something that's been ingrained in all of them, especially Steph Curry, which is why they get great threes down the stretch. The baby mamas was going to hold him back. At least he balling and cooking and takes the game seriously, unlike Zion. With Zion, he just lost out there. Hopefully Anthony Edwards has turned the corner, man. It takes a lot of time to really grow this much, and we'll take a look at his advances in his career in just a second, but let's break this down, man.
10 to shoot.
Realistically, it's hard to double him, right? The double for sure can't come from the baseline. You can't be the first man over to help. These guys are you just cannot be the guy from this guy side to be the one to double in this situation. And he's just getting into his shot. And he's just getting right into his shot, right? He's just getting right into his shot.
Edwards again against Castle. This side.
Again, something he could learn over time, and you could see you got to commit to this, right? If you're Jaden McDaniels, you have to commit to this back pick, right? And part of the maturation of being this post-up player like Michael Jordan, like Kobe, is when you have scenarios like this, which will happen, right? Someone's going to come over to Anthony Edwards' side of the ball to try to shade it, right, and prevent it, especially he could turn baseline and get a fadeaway off. You have to commit to this back pick to give Julius Randle the shot.
So this side, other side of the floor. Free throw line, tough follow.
But that's just a really, really tough shot right there by Anthony Edwards. But you could see how hard it is to really send the double team in those scenarios, especially when a guy is really that efficient from there. And you know, a lot of credit for Anthony Edwards for not just improving, because as much shit as we gave him for the three-point shot last year, it was really impressive. To work himself to a 40% three-point shooter with the athleticism and the explosiveness that he has. Now, the next season later, he's adding the post-up game. And that brings me to where he could potentially be. Right? Because when we look at this is year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In his 6th year, he's at 29.1 points per game right now this season. His field goal percentage went from 41, 44, 45, 46, 44 to now 50% shooting from the field, and 41.3% shooting from the three-point line. There was the big thing over the summer. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Mark Cuban called out Anthony Edwards for stepping over the line on free throws. He fixed that because he didn't want to get called for violations on it. This guy is growing his game right before our eyes. And for the amount of critique that he's gotten for off the court issues, on the court issues, this guy keeps getting better. And I know a lot of people, myself included, really wanted to see more of a Michael Jordan sort of rise to this guy's game. But it really kind of follows more of the Shai Gilgeous, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. By Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 6th season, He was in his second year of his back-to-back year in averaging 30 points per game, and then jumped up to 32.7 last season, and now is at 31.9. And, you know, the question is, will Anthony Edwards continue to make that step into MVP contention? His offensive game, in my opinion, is really rounding out to be a very well-rounded game. I think something that they're probably going to start asking out of him again is his defense. Excuse me. And so where is he going to end up in the next couple of years? I really think he needs to be in MVP conversations next season. And not necessarily when it comes to being the face of the NBA, but if he wants to be in real contention for championships, I think he needs to be in that conversation, because that means he's playing at a level that his team needs him to be when you're going against, you know, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders, the Jokic, the Lukas. You got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on one team. Like, you're going against MVP caliber players, and if he's at that level, I think it'll go a long way for his team. So a lot of credit to this guy, man, for a lot of shit that he gets. I think he's improved a whole lot. Now, this brings us to our Oklahoma City Thunder topic. And they won last night against Miami, 124-112. It was close for most of the game until Shai had that third quarter by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 16 points in the third quarter. It was it was beautiful. Like it was beautiful. Like it really was. Unbelievable what this guy was doing in the third quarter. Against Memphis the other night, they won 117-116. Granted, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was out. But ever since the loss at the NBA Cup and, you know, the 3 losses to the Spurs, they've been winning still, but it's not the same Oklahoma City Thunder team that we saw early in the year. And a lot of people are now asking whether or not the NBA has figured out the Oklahoma City Thunder, and we'll try to answer that today. Shoot, he gonna be in it this year, that dumb 65 game rule. But Elijah, you got to give him some credit. He's grown a lot in his game, man. You got to give credit where it's due. A lot of players aren't able to do what you know Edwards has done. So you got to give him a lot of credit for that. So what is going on with the Oklahoma City Thunder? And this happened in this game last night. Let's take a look at it right here.
The bounce pass by Mitchell got picked off. Here comes Wallace. Missed the dunk. Bam gets called for the foul. And
they call this the phantom foul.
Bam can't believe it. He's asking Coach Spo to challenge. He thought he had a clean block.
Advantage of your turnovers, and Coach Spo is going to challenge this. He's out on the floor. Referee initially looking at him with a perplexed expression until he saw the challenge.
Contact, critiquing the officials until at least you look at 2 or 3 different angles. John, we've looked at 4 different angles. Never saw any contact there, but
yeah,
it was
zero.
So it was challenged, and they still gave the call to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So is this a case of the Oklahoma City Thunder are simply not getting as many calls as they got earlier this season? And what I'm gonna do right now is pull up this clip, because I think that this sums up very well this really sums up the Oklahoma City Thunder and the defense that they've played, and this even ties into the San Antonio Spurs earlier. This ties in very well to the defense that they play. Let's take a look at what Iman Shumpert has to say.
This is the thing people don't realize about the whistle. It's one thing for you to get a whistle within the beginning of a shot clock, a possession where you're applying no pressure, and then all of a sudden you turn up the intensity and it's the first time the ref's seen it. It's a whole nother ball game when all 5 of y'all are in people's face and y'all are guarding with a certain level of intensity that desensitizes the ref's eyes. And I think OKC is right now taking full advantage. Run the clip back, that's a poke, no foul. All 5 of us are up to touch on everything. Look at that lock. That's just somebody guarding you. He got out of his way, let him go. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm locking that, I'm everywhere. That's Devin Booker losing the handle. There was not a foul, no foul at all. They just took their whole shot clock. What I realized a lot of times was when I was playing defense, if I didn't have JR acting crazy and Tyson Chandler acting super intense, I'm not allowed to do all the shit that I'm doing. A lot of times people are like, oh, Iman, you was fouling. Maybe I was, but we were all intense. So it just looked like y'all soft at the moment. Once that becomes a thing that the ref has to realize, hey, I got to deal with this all game, especially if it's from the jump, the ref now has to adjust his whistle. So adjusting the whistle is never one guy but 5.
What do you guys think about that? What do you guys have to say about Iman Shumpert's commentary on the Oklahoma City Thunder and their defense? This is what I was saying the other day. They're such a great team, but the refs seem like they always dying to give them a call. You found it. Is that the clip? That sums up the Oklahoma City Thunder's defense unbelievably well. And what do they say, right? What do they say when it comes to contact? You know, what do they say when it comes to combat sports? Be the first one to punch. Be the first one to hit. If you're driving in the lane, not that you're looking for an offensive foul, but if you hit the defensive player first, you get to knock them off balance, you regain balance, and you finish. If they hit you first, now you're the one off balance. That really simple concept is what Iman Shumpert is talking about on a much larger scale when you're talking about 5 guys on the floor that are playing defense connected like that. And the biggest difference that I've seen recently, and we'll take a look at it. The biggest difference that I've seen, which maybe you can give the San Antonio Spurs credit. What did I say when the Spurs beat them? I don't know if you remember this, Elijah. I don't know if any of you guys remember this. What did I say when they beat them? It was the guards. It was the guards. It was Castle getting downhill. It was De'Aaron Fox getting downhill. It was Dylan Harper getting downhill. Vassell getting downhill. Wemby hit some big shots down the stretch to really win that game. But when it comes to the entire game, what gave the Oklahoma City Thunder problems was because guys, the guards in particular, were attacking downhill the whole game. And it doesn't matter how great of a defense you are. If guys are out of position, if you're constantly scrambling and your defense isn't set and you're not the one punching first, it's going to be a lot more difficult. And we'll get to these clips in just a second, but that's what's gone on as of late. Teams are now attacking them instead of allowing OKC to attack their offense first. And teams are having a lot of success. Mind you, everyone calls the league soft. Once someone grabs, they nuts, we fouling. That's been the Raptors for years. Yeah, that guard play did him in. It's facts, and we're gonna see right here. We're going to see right here. Where is this? I mean, it's so many 2-point field goals. And so many, and you know, guys are just really trying to get downhill and attacking them. And they're having, like I said, a ton of success doing it, because now OKC's defense doesn't just get to sit there and set itself. Let's take a look at this stretch right over here. Makes and misses aside, by the way, right? The concept of attacking this defense, when earlier on everyone seemed a little bit hesitant and scared, for lack of a term. Let's take a look at it. Get downhill, get a bucket.
Just got a little too aggressive with that forearm.
Here you go, run a little bit of offense, get downhill. Kick out, still get downhill. You get a good shot. You just missed it.
Good job clogging the middle, not allowing. I tell you, he was sensational Friday night.
Attack the rim.
Did a great job of hitting those mid-range shots. Giro gets to the bucket.
That was a beauty.
Well, he took a lot of contact on that play.
They get a block right there, but I mean, you're forcing. It's kind of like offense, right? Sometimes you can't do anything about a great offensive player, right? Sometimes you could do whatever you want. They're going to make that shot. Sometimes defenses, you could bump, you could do whatever you want. You get them to jump on a pump fake and they still recover and they rip the ball or they block you. That happens still. But to have to force them to make special plays constantly by attacking them, it goes a really long way, instead of sitting out at the three-point line and waiting for shots to fall. and it's very evident. It's not just it's not just the, you know, it's not just the Miami Heat. This is something that's been very consistent for a lot of teams recently against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That psychological wall is taken down too. When Pistons were losing, everyone was like, we got them, except the Raptors. But again, it's really showing. If you try to get downhill on these guys, if your guards, right? If your guards can play and attack in transition, and you don't allow Lu Dort to be on an island against you, if you don't allow Alex Caruso to be on an island against you, if you don't allow Jalen Williams to be on an island against you, you can find a ton of success. So I think that has been that's been the driving factor for for these teams against OKC. But I think a part of it too is fatigue, right? They had a really hot start to the year, and I think the shit talk, right? When Shea said we can't go back and forth because he doesn't come back and forth. These players see that, right? So now they getting up, like oh shit, now we locked in. And just little moments where let me find this right here against the Miami Heat. Those moments where they have lapses, right? Those moments where they have lapses. Where is this? Wait, was it in the first? These moments where they have these lapses, they weren't happening as often before. And I think, just mental fatigue. And let's take a look at some of these mistakes, man. This end of the first quarter, 32-29. OKC is up, 9.4 seconds left. So you're thinking Miami gets a shot, OKC gets the last shot.
And the run continues.
As you can see, they're in a zone right now.
See what the Heat do here.
Again, trying to get into the paint. And what we saw a lot of times, right? I gave OKC a lot of credit for this. For this nail guy to split the difference between these guys, right? Because what'll typically happen in today's NBA is guys will sit here and wait for the shot. And instead of waiting for the shot, you make a play and
see what the Heat do here. Final possession. Smith, the push shot, and that's good offense again.
And then right over here, Andrew Wiggins again, locked into the game.
With 3 seconds to steal. Wiggins off the inbounds pass, and he nails the 3.
So those little mistakes they weren't making last season. Teams are super locked in. A little bit of mental and probably a little bit of physical fatigue also is, I think, factoring in this. And again, the blueprint to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder is to play good basketball. Get downhill, get a foot in the paint, and you'll have a chance. Play physical defense. And that's another thing, right? Because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has the foul merchant. You know, he's been called the foul merchant all season long, and I mean, let's be honest, that's probably not going away anytime soon. But he's showing an ability to play through contact right here. So let's take a look at this.
Baby hook there from Adebayo. That rims out. SGA punches the gap. Left hand. What a finish. Plus
Got the call.
The Thunder have taken the lead. First quarter, second quarter, now third quarter. Miami's been able to retake it. SGA switch
with a left.
Goes with the left, and then goes glass.
I mean, this guy's cold.
Jada.
What just happened?
Again, trying to get downhill. Dangerous pass. Shai off the catch.
I mean, he just had himself a moment in this third quarter. He was absolutely killing. I mean, through contact right there too. So, you know, for a lot of the 3-point merchant allegations that he's gotten, I think, what the fuck is going on with this thing? I think he's also done a really great job of playing through contact, and you know, the great players are gonna adjust. That's just a part of the game. It's just a part of the game, and that's just a part of being a great player. And I think this team will be fine. They're going through the midseason woes. They're having a little bit of a slump. I'm sure other teams would love to be able to have a 6-4 or 7 if they're 7-4 now. A lot of teams would love to have that as their slump. You know what I'm saying? But I do think teams are, to what Elijah said earlier, they're adjusting to the style of play of the Thunder, and now we'll see how the Thunder can respond, and I think they'll respond just fine. I think they'll respond just fine. Before we get out of here, Dennis Schroeder is suspended 3 games for confronting and attempting to strike another player 40 minutes after the Kings lost to the Lakers on December 28. Was it the Luka trash talk? I don't know what that was. There's also now rumors that Ja Morant might be joining Anthony Edwards in Minnesota. I know we've talked quite a bit about this already, but if that were actually to happen, maybe at this point in Anthony Edwards' career, with the growth that he's shown in his game, that duo might actually work. And a change in scenery. I know I talked about Ja maybe going to Miami, even though that city's probably not the best for him. It's one of those things where you see a relationship. If you've ever seen a relationship, Ja Morant and Memphis are the relationship where they work so well together. They're always laughing. They're always having fun. But they're also really toxic towards each other, and not helping each other move forward and be successful. And I think this is just a relationship that they just need to part ways. It just has to end. And I think both will be better for it. But if you've stuck around this long, man, thank you so much. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you have not done that already. Thank you guys so much, man. Y'all are the GOATs. Elijah, you're the GOAT. Eli, you're the GOAT. RC, you're the GOAT. Happy Valley Farms, you're the GOAT. Thank you for hopping in here. Elijah not happy with Luka. He's not happy with a lot of players, Eli. That needs its own episode of the players that Elijah's not happy with. But thank you guys so much, man. Y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate y'all for that. So thank you so much. I hope y'all enjoyed the episode. I hope y'all enjoyed the breakdowns. I'll see y'all back here later, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace. I've had a relationship like John Memphis. LMAO, it'd be like that. Y'all be safe, man. Peace.